Namaste everyone. Welcome to our weekly Interfaith gathering. Today our theme is Stop Food Loss and Waste for the People, for the Planet. It's an International Day celebrating from the United Nations. It says, reducing food losses and waste is essential in a world where the number of people affected by hunger has been slowly on the rise since 2014, and tons of edible food are lost and or wasted every day. Globally, around 14% of food produced is lost between harvest and retail, while an estimated 70% of total global food production is wasted. The International Day of Awareness of Food Loss and Waste is an opportunity to call to action both the public and the private sector to prioritize actions and move ahead with innovation to reduce food loss and waste towards restoring and building back better and resilient ready food systems. So here is our theme for today: how we can reduce the food loss. So any one of you can express your thoughts and concerns. Reverend Joel.
I'm sorry, I had a call come in and I was muted. I didn't hear everything you said.
Okay. Today we are observing stop food loss and waste for the people, for the planet. So what we can do to reduce this problem? What is your thought and concern?
Cooperation is, I think, one of the best things that I know of. To be able to understand where the food loss is and be able to find out where we might be able to transfer food to where it might be needed as quick as possible so it's not spoiled and get it. I mean, there's people starving all over the world, in Africa, North Korea, and all sorts of places. And in India, I mean, just there's so many places that need food. Well, we just need to talk. We just need to cooperate and find out how to make a concerted effort as a brotherhood of man. You know, we're all one people. And how can we let our brothers and sisters starve? It's the worst thing I can think of. But only through cooperation and understanding that we are one will this ever end.
So good. Sujita, Dr. Sujita Vatsa.
Good evening. Yes, this is an issue to be addressed very well, and food recovery hierarchy has to be focused. When we talk about food, as you said, it is 25% of food is wasted every year. This was the figure of 2019, I think, and it has increased over the years. Am I audible?
Yes.
But I think food loss can be reduced by taking appropriate amount of food in the platter first, preparing less food, and then using the perishable food as soon as possible or donating it to needy people, as Sir said, same thing. And then food can also be used as for making ethanol, the biofuels later on, and then it can be used for making compost, or it can also be used for the dumpage ground, but that should be the least possible use of the food wastage. Finally, we should focus on our Sanskriti when we talk about Indian culture. Definitely, we don't waste food. We don't believe in wasting food at first. And you are from southern India, you know that story of rice being picked up from the needle, and we all have learned that. So, and third point is the commercial places of food distribution and even school pantries. They should focus on counting the amount while they are planning for the preparing of food, they should make a appropriate analysis before baking food and getting know how many people are to be fed, and this will reduce the problem. And definitely, if we will reduce 25% of this wastage, we can feed lot many people around the world, and we can uh, be part of non-hungry population, and we can also reduce problems like PEM. Malnutrition is very much a big problem across the world, so we can address those things as well.
uh, Here, why is it important to reduce food loss and waste? Food loss and waste undermine the sustainability of our food systems. When food is lost or wasted, all the resources that were used to produce the food, including water, land, energy, labor, and capital, go to waste. In addition, the disposal of food loss and waste in landfills lead to greenhouse gas emissions, contributing to climate change. Food loss and waste can also negatively impact food security and food availability and contribute to increase the cost of food. Our food systems cannot be resilient if they are not sustainable. Hence, the need to focus on the adoption of integrated approaches designed to reduce food loss and waste. Actions are required globally and locally to maximize the use of the food we produce. The introduction of technologies, innovative solutions, new ways of working, and good practices to manage food quality and reduce food loss and waste are key to implementing this transformative change. So, first question is, what is food? So, when we think about food, it's not only a physical food, it is a mental food and the spiritual food.
Mental food also.
Right. So yogis, some yogis, I'll say, they never eat food. Some yogis never eat water. Why I use the word eat? Because this is the way naturopathy taught us. Drink food, eat water. Right? So a lot of time people eat food and drink water at a time. Nothing will digest properly. So you have to chew very well and make sure what you take in should digest. So when you chew well, saliva mix with the food and you don't want to eat too much. I was at the Indian restaurant last month with my friends. We are having a thali, it's a big meal. And suddenly a few of the people they asked, can I get Coca-Cola? So I told them, you are eating a beautiful Indian meal. Do you want to destroy that meal in your stomach? Because this is the way they grew up. Parents give all the drinks, artificial drinks, which is not healthy, and it create a big problem in America and some of the other countries, including you can at the top of the Everest you may see Coca-Cola can. That's the way it is. So we eat when we are hungry. Otherwise, we don't have to eat. Because I remember my childhood, we get black tea early morning and we go for sports and all that stuff and come back. Then get meals and carry our tiffin to our school. Evening after all the sports and everything, we come back and get some snacks and the night we get food. That means 4 times a meal. TP, just keep it unmuted. Yeah. So our theme is stop food loss and waste for the people, for the planet. That was the thing. So my question was, what is food? So we are going to the point: food, physical food, mental food, and spiritual food. So actually, I grew up with the 4 times food, then end up 3 times. Then later part, I made it 2 times a meal, and now end up in 1 meal a day. That's a transition according to the lifestyle. That's why I made it. Then what I take in my plate, I never waste. That plate will be clean before washing with my eating habits. If I don't like something, I won't take it and eat it. Even if it's a very wealthy food, people spend so much money to buy it, I won't take it. So this is my habits. So now I like to hear from other people why we had to save food, why we don't want to waste food. Dr. TP. TP.
Yeah, I am basically from a farmer's family. My father was an agriculturist. So it's not that in my childhood we had poverty or food was sufficient enough. But in the plate, if one bit of rice was balanced and then we take it for washing, mother used to scold me. That is because she takes the sequence of making it from flowing, growing, cutting, and then maybe cooking it. All that is a great effort, right? And for the fuel, what you use for making it. So I keep saying every bit of rice which you throw as waste is also not the cost which you pay. It worth much more. But it's so sad people have that habit. Even if it's a buffet, they take a lot and then throw most. It's a very bad culture, basically because they have not understood the value of it, the worth of it. I have seen this happens only in places where people have been taken care of by servant maids. They have not been attended by their parents. They have not been taught the value system. These are all actual value system. And there is no point in scolding them when they grow up. You can't change these habits. Very, very difficult. You can't change. Only you have to live with such people. It is your concern which burns inside you. Very difficult. Many things, but it doesn't have its purpose. Like the cloth, what I said is so. The quality of the cloth is not good. The time which you spend is useless. So why education has lost its quality and it has become waste? It is not food alone. No, the quality education is also waste. A lot of people get some certificates. What is the purpose of that certificate? That's also waste. So it's a huge. We have got doctors. You know, when in Indian situation, when we make a doctor, we are investing more than 10 lakhs from the people money for that. Even if it is a private, not the students are putting all the money. The management is putting effort, government is giving a lot of rebates. The people who come as patients there are paying money, and that money is used for building up the infrastructure. That means a student is getting an MBBS with the people's money. But if that student is not a good doctor, it's actually waste. You are creating a government employee and he is not doing his job. That's also a waste. The biggest waste in this world is human resources. It is not natural resource. Natural resource is plenty and it can replenish faster. What cannot be replenished that easily is the bad habits, the bad experience, unwanted bad teachings which are done by people, the culture which cannot be replenished that easily. Earth has its own ways of replenishing. It's a live earth. It is not it's a dynamic earth. The temperature keeps going up and down. But unfortunately, politicians talks about only bad weather. Therefore, we are not able. Bad weather is not a problem. There is nothing called bad weather. Weather is only there. There is a flood. Why people go and stay in the close to the sea? There are much more better places. There are a lot of land vacant, we are unused. But people go and get crowded in the city and then make a pollution. So there are a lot of, I remember one of the best poems which I read probably, which is more practical. Jananibidamaya Darja. There are a lot of people, but the output of those people I have not seen in this world. Because most of them are unproductive. Unproductive people are the most waste actually. If you say I am old, I cannot work anything, that's waste. Correct. That is because the culture made them to depend on many people. I keep saying, yesterday I was talking about the crowd in the hospitals to a doctor. One patient goes, there will be 6 people going in most of the hospitals. And that makes the hospital crowded. You go to the West, you will see one patient, they go by themselves, attend themselves. Why the other 6 people are going? Because they don't have any other job. They find disease is a big community activity for many people. Oh, you are diseased, you have to tell 10 people, then only you get the concern, care. That is why they become diseased. Otherwise, only illness will be there. The illness becomes disease because there are a lot of people who talk about, oh, are you not well? That's a big problem. Got it? So I think waste happens in many places. This is what is more concerned than probably the materialistic thing, because material we can always make and remake. And then even I say that when you throw the food, it's not a waste, because if you don't throw it in a place where people cannot eat. Earlier, traditionally in villages, food was thrown. At least cat will eat, rat will eat, snake will eat, bees will eat, flies will eat. Every other. Even today, we don't have water in most of the villages. Squirrels have run away, crow has run away, parrots have run away, because there is no water available open for those. No, we have got what is called the Bhuda Yatnam. Bhuda Yatnam is give food for other animals other than human being. That was a culture. Give food to somebody else. But today, I have seen a lot of parrots, crows, squirrels in my village. Today, we don't see. The reason is water comes from the pipe. The borewell is also closed. Tank is also closed, water is also closed, and then it goes through the drainage under the ground. Where is water? If rain is not there, other animals cannot live, creatures cannot live. So all the natural resources we have kept for ourselves and not even exposed to others. So the first thing when I go to my village, what I do is I have a big drum. I keep saying, fill all that and then keep it open. Let a dog come and drink. Let a crow comes and drink. Parrot comes and drink. Squirrels are not there. That is because we put so much of pesticide. No other animals can eat that. Only human being can eat. All fruits and vegetables which are more put on pesticides, polluted, genetically modified food. Once we generate genetically modified food, only human being can eat. Other animals and even flies will not eat it, because it knows it is not, no benefit is there. The life is not there. So we are producing food which is lifeless. These are all big problems. Natural forests like rainforests are being cleaned up for oil palms. Imagine the disaster what is happening in the forest. That is all because human beings have become selfish. They are not anymore being human. Being social is not there. Social not to human, to other animals also we have to be social. It's a big concern. Nice that the topic has come out. Thank you, Dileepji.
That was wonderful. You spoke different aspects. And I would like to hear from Dr. Kabal Singh ji.
Thank you, Ji. Thank you, Guruji. Namaste, Sat Sri Akal, Ram Ram, whatever greetings may be. First of all, it's so nice to see you all. I have been kind of off and on in my meetings because there've been so many conflicts going on. This is a very actually exceedingly important topic which you have started. Sasi Kumarji, Dr. Sasi Kumarji, thank you very much for sharing your thoughts. I wasn't here able to hear Guruji's full speech, and if anyone else spoke yet. Myself is a physician, and I was born and raised in a small village in India, Punjab, Mulnapur. We were not rich, we were very poor. And my mother used to gather wood, make fire. On that, she will cook food, and then half of the food she'll spread, half of the ashes she'll spread on the floor, and then educate me by writing Uda, Ada, ABC. This is how I learned my alphabet. And she taught me my plus, minus, and all, and even to read and write and do my part. Japji Sahab, my mother taught me all those things. So she was my first guru. And then, of course, my father helped me and gave me the more worldly knowledge and the business things and all. One thing they emphasized was the importance of time. And you have to be punctual. If you are not punctual, you cannot get anything done. So it was important for us to rise early in the morning. We did not have any electricity, or our clock was the sunrise and sunset. That's how we operated in our homes in the villages. We had no electricity, and oil we wanted to use minimum, like kerosene oil lamps were there. It costed money, and we did not have that money had to spend on that. So we operated by the sunlight. That's how I learned to my homework and all. I had to rise up in the morning with the light, read, and those kind of things. I was in high school when actually electricity came into our village. Fortunately, I was able to go to a local high school, graduate from there, and then go to a local community college, and from there graduate, then entered. I don't know how that happened in Medical College Amritsar, which was a prestigious institution in our northern in Punjab. I did my MBBS over there, and then from there spent a couple of years in Chandigarh. Then I wanted to do graduate work, came to England. One thing which helped me most was the punctuality which my parents had taught me. Second thing, whenever we went to the Gurdwara, they always emphasized you're not going to leave any food in the plate. Most of the places I went, they leave small amount of food. And I was in the habit of not leaving any food at all. And people used to ask me, you Pendu, Pendu lok are the ones who do like that. You always leave little food because that's considered appropriate. I said, well, I cannot change it. This is how it is and all. Same way, our water came from, of course, the water tap. And in Punjab, water was plentiful during those days. Now it's less. Having gone to England, then learned from other people, plus in science and other places, the importance was saving. Saving was very important. Any reagent we used in chemistry lab, it has to be used by other students too. So we had to be careful how much amount we use and not waste it. And it was important the animals we dissected and operated on, to learn those techniques, because the animal didn't just come. It was alive, and there were ethical guidelines and all those sort of things which we had to follow. So all that translated into my own practical life and the family life and professional life, community life. Here, even in living in Daytona Beach, Florida, if we have a party, even people who are much more educated than me and richer and all that, if you have said that party will start at 7 o'clock, they don't show it till 9 p.m. And then they want to stay late. We want to do something else. After that, 10 o'clock, I want the party to be over, maybe 10:30. Oh, they want to stay, keep talking. Tomorrow we have to send children to the school, grandchildren, and we have to do our own work and all that. People don't want to leave. They just want to continue that. And then the gluttony, which is, and waste of food, which is incredible. So always emphasis was, while being raised, do your prayers and be punctual and save, don't leave food behind because someone else may benefit from it. And also, even if you have a small amount, try to share with somebody else so that we all together. And those were kind of, in a way, the things my mother taught through the principles, what we call Nam Japo Kirt Karo Vanchak by Guru Nanak, which later on we say that. But that was the practical way of doing that. And my mother always had something for someone. She never let anyone go, friend or foe or beggar or anyone who came to home. She always gave something. And we used to have plenty of what they call lassi. We used to have a buffalo and raise milk on that. And I was the one who took care of the buffalo while growing up. We have plenty of milk. Otherwise, milk was so contaminated wherever you got. And after removing the butter, we used to have a lot of what they call buttermilk left. And my mother gave that buttermilk generously to the neighbors and the other people who came and all that. And it's a very healthy food, buttermilk. I still enjoy it in my life. So my point is, there's a little book written by someone, whatever I learned in my kindergarten. There's a Unitarian minister who wrote several years ago. Same is true now, same as in India, same as anywhere else in the world, and that's what my mother taught. So that's where I believe the savings come from the family, from the learning from your Gurdwara, or come from your neighbors and all that together. It's not just one day's job. And then it becomes a part of your life. Otherwise, it's only by verbal Satyam Ev Jayate. It doesn't mean anything. You can talk about Satyam Shivam, Satyam Shivam, Sundaram, like that, but that doesn't mean anything unless really you have it in the practice, all that. So it has to become part of our life. I talk about Panchsheel by Pandit Nehru or all other kind of things. We have a lot of things to talk about. When it comes to practice, we cannot deliver anything of those kind of things. And then they say why we are poor, and then they say why we cannot get along, why we have a political chaos, why we have this and that and all. All these things are as a result of the way we think, or the way we believe in actuality, and that's the way we conduct ourselves and our emotions and our way of living. And that's who and what we are. If we want to change, that's where the change has to take place. Thank you. Namaste.
So, Chris, we had yes, joy. I send you a chat so you can see what is the subject. Sujida, what is your opinion, your experience?
Yes, I agree to both Dr. EPS and Dr. Kripal Singh ji. We have been taught since eras, we have been taught that don't waste a single dana of food in that plate and eat as much as you can. We used to pray for before eating, and then if anything you leave, you have to feed the birds. We feed everybody, or even in Shad Paksh, it is a problem. Throughout year, our family is believing in we have to take out 3 portions of food before we cook for ourselves and feed it to dog, feed it to cow, and feed it to crow. This is how Sir was mentioning. Definitely, if we have been wasting food since, and a lot of water, lot of human effort has been wasted throughout. So if 25% of food that is grown can be stopped from wasting, definitely we can resolve lot many problems of food scarcity. And other day also, I was talking to Dr. Shashikumar sir, and I was screaming like anything on the buffet system and the food that we take in the platter. I was like, how many variety of food we can have in a in a single occasion. And why should we have so many varieties over there? We can have numerous meals. We can have meals like langars. Sir will, Kripal Singh sir will agree. When there is parosgari, when we serve food manually, there is less wastage because numerous times the food has been served. When there is a buffet system, we fill up the plates and then throw the food so whatsoever we don't like, we throw it. And that is the major cause of
Absolutely.
food in wedding and everything wasted. And while planning for the inventory also in the institutions and in schools and everywhere where the meals are being served, definitely there is a role of somebody who is an head of the inventory to plan beforehand the number of people to be served, but they don't want to work upon, and they just prepare a lot much of food and then throw it because the money is coming from somewhere else, and they want the work to be done on the paper. So we have fed so many children in the midday meal. I don't know why do they want to do this. You can serve them if you plan properly, and then definitely we can resolve the problem of food wastage. And definitely culture plays a great big role in everything that has to be aparigraha, as we used to say everywhere. Yes, don't eat. And when I was a kid, I was being told by my grandparents that do you see a bird eating more than the stomach? Do you see a dog eating more than a stomach? Why do you, being a human, don't understand that? Don't eat more than what is required. But we keep on eating, and as a nutritionist also, there's a problem of malnutrition and overweight also. I come across people, we don't feel satiety. Why don't you feel satiety? I don't know. Concentrate on food while eating. And it has been an adage while we were saying that, yes, eat food in calm and cozy atmosphere. But we keep on the television on and then keep on being a couch potato and eating a lot of things which are not required. So we must focus on the amount of food, the amount of balanced food, and then eat. And whatever is left around and whatever we don't want to eat, give it to others, serve them, give it. We should have food banks like abroad we have food banks, and we can serve people like that, then feed the animals, then go for some productive work like ethanol can be produced from the food wastes. And definitely many gallons of, I think 2 trillion gallons of water was being misused, wasted while we waste the food. There is lot of effort and lot of water resources, everything, not only food. And this can definitely reduce the the level of poverty in the countries and level of food scarcity as well. And when we spoil food and when we leave it around, that's definitely creating a sanitary issue, and then cleanliness and what to be done. So we may think about it, and we can work for it. We should work for it. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
If I may add here, Shachita, I think, has a great advice over here. And we even in the medical schools, we need to teach more about nutrition. And they didn't teach very much when I was a medical student. And even homes, home economics classes and all that. And to be a good person, really, one has to know the principles of nutrition. So we need to make use of our nutrition in a good way. Thank you for sharing that, Suchita.
Chris from UPF, you like to bring any points, your thoughts, opinions? Yeah, yourself. Your line is not working well. Okay. Yeah, we won't hear it. Some connection problem. That's fine. That's fine. Yeah, later. Gabriel.
Yes, hello everyone. Learning about nutrition, I became overweight. Not because of
Good.
learning, not because of the learning, but somehow I remember in the very beginning, Guruji asked me, "You hold in your stomach?" I said yes. He said, "You have to stop that immediately." And it took me a long time to stop holding in my stomach because I've been doing it all my life. And when I breathed in, I held my stomach. When I breathed out, I held my stomach. And it became kind of like a toilet training where I became unconscious that I was holding in my stomach. So now it was how to let go of my stomach, how to allow myself to release my stomach. And as there's that part. I'll stop there. There's another part,
Are you talking about constipation?
No, that's separate from this.
What is holding of stomach?
Holding my stomach means when I want to look like I don't have a tummy, I hold in my stomach.
Oh,
This
I see.
thing it, yeah.
I didn't know what you meant by holding.
Sorry, I didn't explain properly. My apologies.
Thank
So so basically there was this aspect of holding in my stomach. I had become a vegetarian, and in the very beginning of that process, that process took a while. In the beginning of that process, I was eating pretty healthy, vegetarian food, but I slowly began to eat more carbs and cheese and things to feel satiety. This was a habit that I've had all my life. The eating to feel satiety. In this life, anyways, I got used to wanting to feel full, wanting to eat until I was satisfied. So because of this, eventually my habits started slipping, and I began to eat more and more unhealthy food, snacks, different things, and between me not holding in my stomach anymore, which I may have had a belly if I wasn't holding in my stomach, even when I was younger, and the combination of me eating more greasy, oily foods, and the anxiety and stress of what I was going through during those times, which was a cleansing process, by the way, which was also healthy in a certain way, but my mind wasn't able to process it in a healthy way. So because of that, I lean towards junk food to feel de-stressed. And then slowly my physical exercise habits started slowing down. And that was also a reaction to feeling overwhelmed and stressed and feeling like I didn't have time, even though I did have time. But my idea, I waste a lot of time. I still present day waste a lot of time, and I'm learning how to economize my time more. And I'm realizing how all of these different aspects are intermingled with each other. Time and utilization of time, utilization of energy and attention and focus, and what foods we eat, how we use our energy, all of these things. So the more I'm beginning to understand on a simpler and simpler level, the more right now I'm beginning to slowly get back to not really, in a certain way, I never really had a healthy practice. So in a way, I'm, for the first time, developing a new lifestyle for myself. Slowly, it's not full yet. But in a certain way, I'm learning how to get back to eating healthier and making healthier lifestyle decisions for myself. I just finished the nursing program, and I'm hopefully very soon to be employed. And certain lifestyle changes I feel are right around the corner for me. So these parts are good. And I've learned a lot, and I'm still learning a lot about the importance of how we give the body, which is a vehicle, a car in a way, how we treat our car reflects our own process and how important it is to pay attention to the different aspects of it. Like I'll say, not just eating, but if we have habits, like I used to have holding in my stomach, suppressing, allowing my stomach to just be in a natural, relaxed state as opposed to tense. Each and every single one of those things is very important. Another thing I want to say is specifically when I mentioned learning process through the last few years, another aspect of the learning process, my father was a Western medical doctor, is a Western medical doctor. But I had not had any understanding of Ayurveda or herbs and natural remedies, I'll say, eating naturally and allowing for the food to be the medicine. There was no training of that at all. For me, food was about flavor. This is the way my family, at least my family down in Florida when I was young, was my experience of being raised. So this type of Puerto Rican family focused on salt, and this is the iodized salt, focused on salt, focused on what they call sofrito, which is 4 elements. It is, sofrito is onions, garlics, cilantro, and green peppers in this mix that comes out to like this green dressing. Or you could blend it into a green dressing, or you could chop it very fine and make this kind of like a flavored sauce. There's something called, I don't remember the name, but this thing that's very salty that Spanish people use a lot. I think it's called sazon. And there was no real understanding of herbs at all. The only thing my grandmother used to use was, she used to use a lot of bay leaves, and I wasn't aware of that till later. But when it came to turmeric, and it came to ginger and basil, and preparing the herbs in different ways, making a paste, making different things out of it. This is something that has been very recent and has been something that I felt like once I started learning, I felt like I realized that I was starving for all my life. I'm understanding that pharmaceutical medicines are medicines which serve a purpose. They're synthetic chemicals made in a laboratory, and that is serving a function. I do feel that nature has a very strong healing capacity. And when things are derived from their natural source, it doesn't lose its energetic capacity to heal as much as a synthetic chemical. Even though it's the same chemical structure, it's missing something that I feel has a very strong vital component to it. And eating based on real nutritional value as opposed to something that is just going to satisfy the senses or the feeling of satiety, which is also a sense. This is something that is not very well known by the grand majority of people, I'll say. It's something that is not taught very well in schools, and it's something that is crucial. It's very important because when people make healthier lifestyle choices, they not only promote their own lifestyle to be better, but the future generations also benefit from this. And in thinking about the future generations, this is something that once we become aware, whatever generation, we should start to implement so that society becomes healthier and healthier each generation. So I'm learning a lot, and this is a great experience and great sharing, and I thank you all. Namaste.
Reverend Joel.
Gabriel sir,
Yes.
Guruji,
congratulations
Thank you. Thank you.
for being a employee now.
can I
earning
make a
money.
quick point?
What
Thank you so much.
Sujita said?
Yeah, congratulations, Gabriel.
Reverend Joel? I think. Chris, how is your connection now?
Better?
Better. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, it's grateful that your dialogue there. So, when I was very young, I was a hippie traveling all around America. I had a backpack that had spices on it. And so wherever I went, I would cook for people. And hitchhiking, I got many rides and many famous people and could cook many wonderful programs. And so I want to talk about the art and understanding cooking and the herbs and spices. And so I studied then what do these herbs and spices do to the difference of the brain. And well, I sort of lost contact with writing that book. Maybe someday I might get back to it, but art now with a world and working, connecting so many different religious people to holidays, and so I'm trying to establish recipes and making those foods. Sometimes I can go to restaurants, but not all the time, and to make those food of salvation and to be connected with that, and not to be used to do this in faith, but through the actual true material, vegetables and meats or whatever. It's very important through that, create part of creation and a part of all of us as beings of love, can connect those two and connect the world. And in doing so, really, this is a foundation to support the programs that are around the world. They're trying to build this army and other many important things that are happening to each people of the world. That if we work with the world and really develop its true nature, we can give the world the nutrition that it needs. And as people, by sharing that, we then develop a lifestyle where we're sharing our inner heart and our inner feelings, and not just have food and other substance. We have family meals. A family meal, there's not just the eating of food, but there's the sharing of life. So I'm starting a little bit late for this program, but I'm really thankful that I see and listen to many things.
Thank you, Chris. Yeah, I'll go back to Reverend Joel.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, I appreciate all the people who have shared their stories, especially those that have grown up in such poverty that they've been so concerned about a grain of rice and the time that it takes to grow it, to serve it, and to be able to eat it and appreciate that. Those kind of things are very, very valuable to understand, and how precious food is for many people that don't have it. And I know in America, food is so plentiful. You go to the grocery store and I mean, sometimes people don't believe it. If you bring them from another country like India into one of our grocery stores, I mean, you just look at there, wow, look at all this food. But at the same time, there's an opportunity to create different food sources within small communities. I don't know if you've ever heard of aquaponics. It's the ability to create a system of growing plants and growing fish at the same time in a biosymbiotic relationship, where the fish help the plants grow fertilized and the plants oxidize the water and be able to help the fish grow healthy. And it can be contained in a small building and be able to feed, close to 50, 60 people in a village. And this kind of thinking, all it needs is, some water basically, and the ability to get some seeds. And that's quite prevalent. The World Food Program, I believe, has these things available for seeds and things like that. And there's all sorts of opportunities for financing if you look for it. Now, I pray that somehow the people that need it and the people that have it can get together, because this is amazing technology that we have for growing healthy, nutritious food that we can all eat in a local area. And wow, it's amazing actually. So I really hope and pray that through the organizations of those that want to give and those that need can cooperate with each other and have a vision of how can we share this food that we have too much of, rather with the people that need it the most. These programs are somehow there, but they need to be connected in the deepest way. And this is what I pray can happen is, as brothers and sisters under one creator, we have to learn to, if my brother's starving, I'm starving, and this is very true. So I pray that somehow this kind of people, I mean, we have some very interesting people on this call this morning that might be able to connect to some of these people. And I hope that happens. I pray. Thank you.
Thank you. A lot of time when I walk on the street of New York, especially in the night time, I see piles of garbage, like 10 feet high, sometimes 8 feet high, and lot of food thrown out because city won't allow shops to give these leftover food to poor people because of the health concern. And one way, certain times it can happen, people can mislead and abuse the system. Sometimes you are wasting. That shows the lack of awareness and care, the government level and the public level. So people has to learn how to respect the food what we take. That is very important to educate people. And the olden times in Indian, yeah, even I know Dr. TP always cultivate things in the land. Yeah, I grew up with my parents. Mother was very active. She was a teacher. So every day, morning or evening, she'll give water to plants. Weekend, Saturday, Sunday, we'll work on the land. So I was able to help her. That's why I learned things. But when you go to the cities, you see the way of lifestyle and people's thought structure is totally different. I remember one child came to my class. I asked, where is milk coming from? Oh, that is from Trader Joe's.
Right.
The child don't know milk is coming from animal. So that another time during my college chairman came to my house. So he saw my mom cut all the turmeric roots, and drying. And he asked, "What is this?" Turmeric. Turmeric. I thought that is a fruit, not a fruit. Yeah, because he's from the town. It's totally different style than ours. So this is the part we have to create a program. Children should learn what is life, how we cultivate things, what's the purpose of life, what to eat, what not to eat. There's so much to learn about it. Then in India, some parts people are very knowledgeable about the nature, especially indigenous group. And the government sometimes give hard time, even in America too. Native Americans, they're well known in nature. But a lot of time they'll give drugs or alcohol and destroy their mind and change this knowledge. So that's why we put Grandmother Patricia to the UN to take care of the indigenous issues. So we have to protect the knowledge from the traditions. And the world is changing. There's no guarantee what will be tomorrow. It's very fast moving in technological way. But technology cannot rule over our body and mind. Good to have the technology for necessary use. So we don't want that to be misused. So this balance we had to create. It's very hard to go back in the olden era and living in the nature, So we had to make a adjustment. This is the way we had to handle it. So now I see Imam Arif Haski. Let me give him a topic. This is the topic we are talking about. International Day of Awareness on Food Loss and Waste Reduction. So we are bringing our personal experience and thoughts and opinions why we don't want to waste food. What is your opinion?
In the name of God, most gracious, most merciful brothers and sisters, good morning, salam, shalom, shanti, and peace. I'm Imam Arif Husis from Michigan, president of Commonwealth Alliance Clergy Interfaith Organization and Ministry and Spirituality Self-Humanity. It is an honor to be with you all. And thank you, my brother Guruji, Dr. Dileepkumar, for inviting me to this beautiful meeting, beautiful conversation to learn from you. And I apologize for being a bit late today due to other meeting with the city of Detroit. So also, I'm glad to see Dr. Kirpa Singh, our advisory board member at Ministry of Spirituality, Self-Humanity, and every one of you who I met before, and Brother Martinez. And if I don't remember that we met before, so hello, we'll explore friendship. About wasting food, Brother Guruji, this is really important topic for worldwide people, not only for us here. And I wish that everyone can hear and have their consideration on food producing and food wasting. We as two interfaith community organization, nationally and globally wide involved, we suggesting people, as we do here in Detroit, for example, community garden, interfaith community garden, to teach our youth and residents how to get along, how to get together. First of all, we have to find out basics of our togetherness, how we can work together, love each other, and understand that there is people different look like than myself, but they are human beings, just me, that they are from different religious perspectives and cultures, and bring them on the earth, that God create earth and us, but us to worship him, and earth to feed ourselves from earth, and heal ourselves as well from earth. This land that God give us, we should not really take it as granted, nor even our lives just granted. We have to have a purpose of our life and purpose of this earth and water as well, because we are made of earth and water, and we feed ourselves and heal ourselves from earth and water, where we also can get illnesses from as well, if we don't know how to live properly, how to eat properly. But the problem is that some kind of laziness came in people more than anything else. People know that salad on table is good, and every one of us likes salad. We can be some of us not eating food, some of us eating meat, different kind of meats, or some meat due to healthy reasons or religious reasons. But everyone can eat salad. Everyone can eat vegetable and fruit. I don't think that any religion prohibits you, or cultural teaching prohibits you to eat fruit and vegetables. But that is our food, that is our medicine in it. All kind of food we eat, that is really from earth, as you know. But if we get people together to grow only potato, tomato, onions, garlic, and few more spices in it, we can live with that the rest of our life. And if we have a livestock, some chickens, some sheep, whatever meat we throw in that, that is excellent. Some people have no food on table in the world for a long time. They dying daily, their kids, of a lackness of food. And we who have a food, we really not thanking God for this sustenance enough. Or somebody will say the higher power. We're not thankful enough to that higher power or God for this what we have provided, because we're throwing more than half of what we have. Take a look our for example, any community events, for example, fundraiser for any issues in India, any issues in Europe, in Africa, because we're trying to help as a humanitarian activities, those people who needs help. But for our dinners, take a look, for example, on that fundraiser dinner to help humanitarianly those people in need. How much food we throw in garbage from our tables, from our plates. If we just convert this food worth in money, whatever money is raised that event, I believe that much more or more worth of food we throw in garbage, and we acting as a humanist to humanitarianly help other people. So when they see our food, which we like, take pictures and videos, put on Facebook usually, so that hungry eyes are not full enough of food, but they are full enough of us, and they really looking us in a little bit different direction. Even they know that we will help them in one way, but in another way we're not helping us enough nor them. So as I heard when I just entered in this event that Guruji mentioned milk, where milk comes from. That is really a great question, where milk comes from. And milk is really our first food in life that our mother nurses us with that milk. For example, cow replacing our mother's milk, cow's milk. So nothing can replace vegetable. Food, other food we can replace with something. If no rice, there is fries, or no fries, there is rice, or potato or something. But vegetable is our food and milk is our food. We don't have to have a meat, but let's work educationally more, increase our morality and ethics in our life, in our families, and that will improve our community, and that will improve society. There will not be war if some people not hungry. Some is hungry for power. You cannot feed them enough. Doesn't matter how much we want, they want to have a power. And for that, having power or get a power, they will kill those hungry people, and millions just be in power. What kind of power is if we kill innocent people? Almighty God said in Quran, if one person kill another person unjustly, has been treated same as he killed entire humanity. Or if he saves someone's life, only one life, he is treated as he saved entire humanity. So that is a little bit leading to us how we should work together and respect and love each other, whether on food basis or moral or ethics. And I always suggesting to improve our togetherness, to improve our mutual love and mutual understanding and respect. So that will lead us to be to live of our earnings, and that will make us more frugal, and that will help. Our frugality will help us to help entire humanity. Thank you, and I apologize if I took too much of time.
No problem. I know Dr. TP like to say something.
Yeah, it was great listening to many who touched upon mostly food. I think before Imam came, we were talking about different aspects of food for thoughts, food for heart, food for spirituality, food for actions and all that. The concern about taking care of not only human beings, but other beings around. A lot of food is wasted, but the largest death happens not because of COVID every day. Probably more than that number is happening because of poverty in the same world. But we are not concerned about those, but we are more concerned about COVID. That is because COVID is affecting the rich man also. But poverty doesn't affect rich people, right? So I think the concern is always there for the rich and privileged group. Otherwise, we would have been more worried about the poverty death than the COVID death, because it's a long term, not what we call, it's not in the pandemic for last 2 years. It's a pandemic for last centuries. And if you look at the African people who cultivate the banana, I don't know how many of you have seen. You look at YouTube and then see how they transport these produce which they produce in the agricultural land to the market. Though they take 500 kgs of their produce, big bananas, on a cycle, and they pedal them. Sometimes they hang on to some vehicle which is running, and most of the time the tire gets punctured. They don't even have money to make it repaired. That poor is the people, and what they are carrying, the food for the rich. Can imagine the meager amount which they get for this transportation, there are a lot of problems in this world which are not being concerned for big discussions because they are not part of this world, right? At least a concern for them. We are living not in the 13th century or 12th century. We are living in 21st century and the time goes much fast. We should not talk about centuries. We should talk about third decade of 21st century. I keep saying we are in 3-2-1 era. And this 3-2-1 era also, we are not concerned about our fellow beings in this world. And we fight for occupying the seat of ruling a country where people are not even cared well, right? And their cousin brothers are living in other part of the world with, I don't know. This is not what probably is to be done. Little concern. Concern is not good enough. I think we are all aware of things. We have concern which doesn't produce any result. Webinars, discussions doesn't produce any result. I think some action. I went to, Dileepji knows, I do some agriculture. I went to somebody's land the other day to see 10 acres of land, not even 1 acre is cultivated. I was scolding him, telling, why are you not cultivating and become rich? I told him, at least no, the 1 acre is you are doing very great, good and all that. After 1.5 months, I telephoned and asked him, how is the growth? He said, all that 6 rupees he has spent for saplings. 1 acre he had. All that is in water because of heavy rain in Hyderabad. Unusual heavy rain. You know, in America, when they cultivate, they give insurance. India, farmers are not having insurance. Once he lost, he is lost. That's why. Now I understood why he is not cultivating 10 acres. So the producers are in poverty because they don't have that much money with them to invest for making agricultural land fertile. But still India is producing more food than required. The biggest problem in this world is not nuclear power production. The tomato which we have, which is produced in an agricultural field, to take it from that field to the customer, the cost is 10 times more than the cost of the tomato. And we don't have proper way of protecting it live, good, fresh for more than 2 days. If that cannot be transported in 2 days, it has to be thrown. And during COVID and all, the transportation was not there, drivers were not there, vehicles were not moving. I have seen the producers throwing every produce which they have in the field itself. What concern these politicians have? What concern people have? This is what is bigger waste. Agriculture needs a lot of different way of looking at agriculture. We need very good warehouses. We need a good transportation system. Then probably the food cost can become affordable to the poor so that they will be able to. When I said transportation, warehouse, it's also for those African people whom I was mentioning for cycling. He has to, as it is cut, if you don't make it to reach to the place, it's waste. They use banana for making liquor. So every produce have got different purposes for different people based on their background and the culture and the way they lived. We don't have a uniformity, though we say that Loga Samasta Sugino Bhavantu, the world is great, and then we all speak about the great things which are done by uniting people in different places. But polarization is much more than what was earlier. If politics only could do this harm to the world of not uniting people, only separating them, I think we must find some good solutions for making a better world tomorrow. It's a big concern. It's a big concern. Thank you for this opportunity.
Seems like we need people to take care of themselves rather than looking towards the government to do it.
Yeah.
That's the thing I always feel. Even well-known, wonderful politicians became in power, they change within 24 hours. I seen that one. Even New York, one of the elected official, she was not an elected official. She was very friendly with people. Last day, I saw her. She's just looking at me. Did I meet you somewhere? I just laugh. This is where they are. So that's
Guruji, I want to give an
yeah.
advice, not on politicians. Gabriel was talking about food and the obesity, and America, especially your country you are living in, is facing
Not my country.
not of the food scarcity. It is abundance of food is the problem for them. Yeah, you're not your country, the country you are living in. Definitely, there's a lot of disturbance. Am I audible?
Yeah, yes.
So to feel satiety, Gabriel, you have to wait for a while. When you feel hunger, stop. For 15 minutes, there is a secretion in your stomach of the enzymes that do the work of craving. And don't look at the good foods. Then you will feel satiety earlier. And thank you, sir. That was, and the other thing I wanted to add is definitely जैसा खाते हैं अन्न वैसा बनता है मन तो so we must focus on good type of thought processes to good type of food available all around, and definitely we can address things very well, and together we can address it. We'll do that. Poverty is everywhere in the countries because of the imbalance. Not only India is a developing country, definitely. But people who have abundant resources also, there are also ghettos and there are also poor people. So we have to manage and balance things. And for the balanced diet, balance the colors, use all 7 colors in your food wherever available. And this will balance your diet in any ways. Thank you so much.
And in America, I felt because of the chemicals, what they use, or the chemicals are the main thing. And sometimes those who eat meat, they have especially chickens. They give drugs in it to the chickens. They become bigger, and that will go to people's body, and they lose the control of their growth in the body, and people are not aware of it. So these are the part I talk with the people. How to handle what they eat and all that stuff. And of course, the richness in America, because they get everything. They get the best quality of the food items from around the world. And I am against certain things which countries are sending all the best items to other world and make out of money and not giving our people good food.
Dileepji, other day I got apple in which USA brand was made. So India also is getting best fruit from America.
So actually, we need of course, UN have this food department and all of that stuff, and they can create a system, to give enough food to everywhere. We need something to have done internationally, actually, and make sure all the young people learn how to plant seeds, create fruits and vegetables, and whatever they like, and not fill their stomach as a graveyard. So sometimes I go for lunch or dinner with Gabriel, and he stick with the taste of the food. I'll tell him, just eat the food. You are hungry, eat the food. Don't think too much about taste. Yeah. Once in a while, having good food is good. So then you will respect, appreciate the value of food. So focus on what we need for sustaining our life rather than enjoying our life. Enjoyment is also part of it, but not focusing too much on. So this is awareness we have to create with people. And let us see what we can do in future. Definitely I acknowledge Dr. DP said we need action, action plans, not simple. And we are working in the world with 100% chaos. People try to divide us. That's the way it is. So we have to be aware, and we don't want them to enter in our life. Yeah, we create our own way of propaganda, educate people and create the situation. So that's good. Anything else to say? Anyone? So we are going to wind up. So Saturday, TP is having a program, right? Yeah. And
Music.
program.
This time we have from Portuguese, no? No. We are from Argentina. Argentina, Brazil, and we have people from India. Gabriel, why are no? Gabriel G has become an employee now, too busy. Last time Chris was joined for the music program, I think. He was there around?
Yeah. Then we may have Gandhi Jayanti program at the Union Square with the Indian Consulate on 2nd. And boss are also putting a music program same day, and see how we'll enter in every program. Sunday we have Bhagavad Gita class, and Monday is my birthday celebration. I just post on Facebook, and Sunday I'll post again with our meeting. So these are the upcoming events. So see you everyone on Saturday. Right.